Hey everyone, this is your boy Project Aplamado. Basically, this will be a very short but very profound video about what to do with your life once you are 27-year old or 28 years old or 30 years old, especially as a man or as a male in our world right now. The things I would say are few, basically one or two things. I don't have the energy to vomit to vomit everything everything I feel, maybe everything I experienced. I don't have the time. I don't have the iota of energies, the iotas of energies to produce to you everything, uh, to say everything that I have experienced still to this day. But I will give some advice for people who are my age, younger or older. Probably older people have way more experience than me. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Aplomado, Project Aplomado. I am 28 years old. I'm from Morocco and I live in Russia. That's the keyword right there, Russia. Why I decided to come to Russia? Nobody knows. It was sort of a whoop. I guess we are here anyway. So better, better use what I have to achieve what I want. Basically, me coming to Russia, it was sort of a come here to study, come here to learn, and then maybe grow my professional career as a teacher, as an English teacher. I've always wanted to be a teacher. And I did that. I worked as a teacher before here in Russia. I got accredited for it. I got like a paper of recognition, like I'm the best English teacher in all of this region. For me, that was quite a breakthrough, because in Morocco there's no job opportunities, to be quite frankly with you. And I'm sure not only English speaking people watch me, I'm sure people from all over the world watch my videos, whether I speak in Moroccan, in Turkish, in Russian, in English. um, I don't want this to be a venting video. Like, I don't want this to be like, yeah, I'm lost, there's nothing. Like, I don't want to be negative, but in that negativity there's truth. In that negativity there's a lot of truth that nobody will tell you. You understand yourself. Some people have the balls to tell you what, to say it as it is. Some people have the balls to tell you their failures, to tell you. But we as people, we as human beings, we don't really talk about our failures. I'm here to talk about my failures so that you learn from my failures. First of all, the job market. I didn't study the job market. That's the first mistake I did. Second of all, I didn't do research on economy, on politics, on a lot of stuff. This, I'm talking post high school graduation. I'm not talking about now. Now, of course, I know a lot of things that I didn't know before. I developed my skills when it comes to searching, to reading, to adapting. Now I do have those skills, but before I did not have those skills. I didn't know what a job market is. All I knew is that, all right, do whatever you want to do as a field. Do whatever you feel comfortable doing. And at the end of the day, if you're happy, if nobody bothers you, if you make good money, that's it. You won the lottery ticket. Like, you succeed in life. That's completely wrong. That's not how life sometimes works, because when it comes to the job market, you have to calculate a lot of things. You have to take into consideration a lot of things. Not only how much it pays, how much experience you need, if they accept entry level or not. If you need someone to recommend you, basically here in Russia, like, the job market is there, like, it exists, like, you can work. There is work per se. There is the jobs, blue collar jobs. There's a lot of blue collar jobs. There are a lot of white collar jobs. But within that, there's a lot of complexities, like whether you're a Russian citizen or not, whether you speak Russian language or not, whether you live in Moscow, St. Petersburg or not. You know, a lot of things I didn't take into consideration. I just like we say in Moroccan, you know, to jump in the sea without pants. That basically means like to gamble. You know, I gambled. Basically, I wanted to gamble to come here. Not, I didn't do it like it wasn't based on nothing. It was actually based on some calculation I made. I'm like, all right, you know, Russia is the biggest country in the world. Russia has opportunities. Maybe Russia has some things that are lacking in my country specifically. I'm not trying to compare with Europe or the US or Canada or any other place or India, or I'm just comparing between Russia and my home country. Whether you can pinpoint the differences between your country and other countries, or your country and Russia, that's up to you. But for me, there are a lot of things that are lacking, that are not in Morocco and yet are in Russia. One of them is finding a job. The job is there. If you want to work, there is jobs. Whether you know the Russian language or not, to be quite frank with you, whether you know the Russian language or not. But the key is which kind of job. There's woodwork, there's metal jobs, there's factory work, there's road work, like you fix road, you lay the asphalt, there's construction, there's, you know, all this type of blue collar and white collar jobs that the Soviet Union was built upon. You know, if there was no blue collar during the Soviet era, you will not basically see the Russia that you see today. All the architects, all the people who helped build what Russia is today. So I basically had a few hiccups. I basically had a lot of downfalls. I worked jobs in factories where I was treated not necessarily, you know, terrible, but it wasn't comfortable. It was like waking up every day and feeling like, hell, man, I studied 20 years. And I'm thinking every day, wearing my shoes and wearing my gloves and going to work, I'm thinking, I didn't study all these years to do this. Like, I'm not made for this. Like, I worked with some people who, no joke, they don't even know how to write their name. Like, I don't know how I ended up, how I fell into that bucket, like we say, you know. But it gives you perspective. Like, it gives you big perspective on life, on yourself, on what you want, on what other people want for you. You see the life from a scope which you will not have if you were still in your country. That's the key also, is to travel to other countries. I am in Russia today. Maybe you are in Australia. Maybe you are in India. Maybe you are somewhere else and you're struggling to find a job. You're struggling to live. You still ask for your parents' help. You still ask for the help of your friends, maybe of your family. We've all been there. There's no shame in asking for help. That's not wrong in itself. What is wrong is to sit there, you know, with your hands crossed and say, life didn't give me anything. I worked hard and life didn't give me anything. Well, big deal. Life didn't give all of us nothing. And if you really look deep into it, most people who succeeded in life, usually two factors. I'm not being too like hyperbolic or something. Like, I'm serious. People who succeeded in life, whether they are sports people, whether they are entrepreneurs, like all the Jeff Bezos, all the Elon Musks, like all these people, where did they come from? They came from money. Of course, talents, that's the first thing you need. You need talent, you need hard work. Everyone works hard. But these people who succeed in life, they come from money. Like, I can pinpoint a few people who really started from nothing, and they exist. And the concept that you can start from nothing also exists 100%. It does exist, but not for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody the same way. It doesn't work for everybody. Like, if you don't have good talent, like if you're not recognizable, if you don't stand out, nobody will pick you, nobody will choose you, nobody will gamble on you. Like, nobody will give money, will invest for you to advance in that specific area or that specific job. That's why these days we start to notice that most people are prone to do like quick businesses, like OnlyFans. Here you have Rumble, you have YouTube content, you have TikTok. Like people are not interested to develop professionally anymore because they understood at the end, like me, I worked hard, I studied hard, I did everything I could, and at the end, someone's father helped them, someone's grandfather, someone's uncle, someone's, you know, there has to be that lift up. You know what I mean? Like there has to be that push, and people. I'm a fan of the WWE or wrestling in general, and there's this word that is repeated over and over again in this sport, in pro wrestling. They say the push, the word push, to push. It has two meanings, like to physically push someone, but the second meaning is metaphor, like to help someone advance in life. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like this push, to get this push is very rare. Not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets the opportunity to advance professionally in their life, and miss me with those like work hard. Don't like. Okay, what is work hard? For example, is it to wake up early? Is it to go every day to work for a company that profits with or without you? Like you're replaceable. That's the thing. Like, what is it? Work hard. For me personally, working hard, I believe, is to work on your business. Like if you open a business, even if you make $1 a day or $2 a day or 50 cents a day, that doesn't matter. It is your business. But to do this business, you need capital, you need money, you need help, you need legal advice, you need a lot of things. That's why I'm telling you, there's this thing where if somebody doesn't give you a push, you rarely could make it in life. And that's the hard truth that movies don't say, that documentaries don't say, that The Rock doesn't say. The Rock always, I have nothing against The Rock, to be honest with you. Since I watched, and I'm still watching the WWE, like The Rock is, for me, one of those people who, they do have the talent. Like for me, The Rock has the talent. He has the charisma, he has the body, like he has everything. But he came from a very wealthy and very professional family. Like his father was a pro wrestler before him, and he basically got the advice, he got the pointers that someone who came from a carpenter family or someone who came from a plumber family does not know. So that was basically me including professional wrestling in this conversation, just to give you an example that in life you need a push. That's the first thing you need. The second thing you need is talent. I already said that. Like if you don't have talent, for example, most jobs that require talents, they are crafts jobs, like we say craftsmanship or something like this. Those are the jobs that need talent. Sports also needs talent. Entertainment, music, singing, acting, these need talent. If you don't have the talent, if you don't stand out, there is a reason why they call it a casting call. If you don't stand out in this casting, like nobody will call you back, like nobody will ring you. So that's what I'm at life. Like I'm in that part of my life where like F this shit, like you always try to compare yourself. You always try to go to social media and see people living their lives. Some of them are truth, some of them are lies. But I'm in the point of my life right now, 28 years old. I'm knocking on the doors of 30s. And those who are 45 years old, 50 years old, like they know for sure. Like once you are 30, you need to at least have something. You know what I mean? At least you need to have a job. The minimum you could have it is a job. It doesn't matter if it's a business. It doesn't matter if it's your own business. It doesn't matter if it's a career, like IT, like things like this. Just have a job. To be honest with you, I accomplished most of the things I have accomplished here in Russia. I never could have accomplished in Morocco. Like seriously, 100%. Today, as a person, I have a car, I have a house, I have a job. I could not have these things in Morocco. I could never have accomplished these things. Probably in 30 years span, I could have finally have the opportunity to buy a car, to have a house, to build a house. I did those things in the span of 3 years here in Russia. And for me, that's something. For me to come here and lie to you and say Russia is shitty or Russia is there. No, it's shitty everywhere. It's hard everywhere. if you don't come from a rich family, if you don't come from a family that knows the crafts, a family that could help you, friends, acquaintances, like this type of networking, if you don't come from here, it's tough for you to make it. And I'm very serious with you. You need to make your own business. That's the advice I have for people who are 17, 18 years old, 19 years old, just graduated from high school. They don't know what they want to do with their lives. Just start a business. There are not just one study, there are a lot of studies that say the average business, like the most simplest business, like to make things like this in plastic, to make a molding machine business, like to print stuff in plastic, to make stuff like this, like you can make 100 pieces. If you sell 2 or 3 a day, that's a success. And there is a study that says that most average businesses succeed in the span of 10 years. Can you imagine 10 years? That means after 10 years, you could already start making bank. Like, that's a study. That's not from me saying that or something. That's a study. You can Google that. So imagine if you're 17 years old and you start a plastic business, a wood business, any type of service, like doesn't matter what business it is. 10 years from now, and 10 years flies really good. It flies really fast. I just remember I was 18 years old yesterday. Now I'm 28 years old. So if you open a business at 17 or 18, you're gonna be successful 100% after 10 years. But you need persistency, and that's why a lot of people fail. Yeah. So the advice I have for people who are broken, who left many jobs, who are socially awkward, who don't want to work for other people. Like, I'm genuinely one of those guys who do not work for other people. Like, I don't want to wake up every day at 9 a.m., or 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. and there the boss is screaming at me like, why do you come 2 minutes late? Why do you come 5 minutes late? Don't do this way. Don't do this that. Like, I'm not made for that life, bro. Maybe some people are. I'm not. Maybe you're not too. That's why the advice I give you, if you don't want to be stuck in this vicious cycle to work for bread or struggle with terrible bosses, terrible managers, or a terrible schedule just so you can make money to survive, open a business. I'm telling you 100 times, over and over, open a business, start a business. And the sooner you do it after high school, the more you're going to be successful after 10 years. So now I started my own business. I'm thinking of starting it. At the same time, I work in a very light schedule, So I basically have the time to expand my ideas, to invest in my ideas. And the only regret I have is not coming to Russia, is not leaving Morocco, is not spending many years just wandering around other countries, just doing this, just traveling. That's not what I regret. What I regret the most is not starting a business early on, when I already had a roof over my head, when I was a teenager, when I already had other people pay for my bills, which are parents, when I already had electricity. I didn't have to pay for anything. That's where I should have started my business. And that's the advice I give people who are from 17 to 25. Start your own business. So I wish you luck. I wish you success. I hope this video reaches as many people as it can. Some of my videos are targeted towards English, not necessarily only English speaking countries, but for everybody. And big shout out to India, people from India. Why? Because whenever I do a live, I always have interactions from Indian people, and big up to Indian people. I do speak a little bit of Indian, by the way. I don't know. That's all I know how to say. It's basically a song. So big shout out to everybody who follow me. Big shout out to people who like my content, to Moroccans, my fellow Moroccans, my fellow Americans, Australians, Brits, British people, Indians from all over the world, the Russians also. Big up to all people who support me, and I see you and I appreciate it.